Hi guys, and welcome to another batch of your replays. There's no theme to today's videos, they just look like two very good games from the score sheets because, as per usual for the next Your Replays videos for the next week or so, I haven't seen any of the games before recording. We are here with Lihas in a replay he sent me in quite some time ago. Today's replays are both 9.1 replays, and he is in a tank I haven't really featured on the channel before, other than the Ace tanker I received in it, but it's the AMX AC 46, the Tier 7 French TD. I didn't think the tank was that bad. It's a little bit annoying because you've got two huge weak spots on top of the tank, as you can see, and like most French TDs, you have no side or rear armor, but it's pretty mobile, the gun is pretty good, and I didn't hate the tank, I just didn't like it enough not to, to bother keeping it once I was done with it. But Lihas has gotten into a very, very difficult matchup. It's a Tier 9 game. He's a Tier 7 TD. He's in a Tier 9 game, 5 Tier 9s on the enemy team, and it's a very close game. It's a 52%er here on Highway. So let's just get going. Now this looks like a good game. And during the countdown to this game, his team were saying, "Heavies, please, please go to the city." But it looks as if the IS-3 has chosen to ignore that advice. Most of the heavies are going city. You can see the tank is pretty mobile. Lihas is doing 40 kilometers an hour on the flat ground. Not using camo. I don't know whether or not that's an issue with the replay, but I've noticed a lot of the tanks on older replays don't seem to have camo on them. I don't see a camo net either, so it looks as if Lihas just has binocs installed. And he's moving up into the typical bush for TDs on the north flank. So a lot of good players on the enemy team. And his mediums are being quite aggressive. That's quite nice to see. His team are pushing up in strength. They're not holding back. And so far, it doesn't look as if the enemy team have sent anyone across to the A1, A2 area. There are two arty in play, but there don't seem to be any scouts. So his team are continuing to push. Type 59, T40, 32 or 34-2 are getting spots. And these tanks are just outside of Lihas's view range, so he needs to move forward, going for the weak spot on top of the tortoise at distance. Very difficult shot. E75. Nope. Not a fantastic start to the game yet, but the E75 has been tracked. And Lihas is able to get shots in. Absolutely no problems penning the side of that E75. Oh, Waffentrager has now been spotted. And a very, very nice shot sets the Waffentrager on fire. That doesn't happen now. That's something that did happen in 9.1, but due to changes that occurred, I believe it was in 9.3. French tanks no longer are set on fire through shots through the lower glacis and into the frontal transmission. But that one shot basically takes Lihas up to 1.5k damage. He did 1,000 or over 1,000 damage to that Waffentrager. So what gun? As you can see, it may be a Tier 7 TD, but it has 212 millimeters of penetration, 240 alpha damage, and a reload of about 6 seconds. It's a very, very nice gun. As I say, I did like this tank. I didn't hate it. But the weak spots on top are probably the main reason I decided to sell it. That and the fact it's just way too similar to the AMX AC 48 Tier 8. So Lihas kills a Tier 9 tank. There is kill number 2. Lihas has killed 2 Tier 9 tanks so far. T95. That's not bad for a Tier 7 TD. Now, if Lihas can actually kill another Tier 9 tank, he'll have killed 3 tanks 2 tiers above him, and that means a nice little medal. Can't remember the name of the medal off the top of my head. But Lihas is on 2k damage, 2 kills, and he's continuing to advance. Now, his team haven't done so well in town. It looks as if they're going to lose town. Lihas has decided to go for the KV-13 rather than a much more difficult T95, but the T95 is not ignoring him. Lihas decided to ignore the T95, and it just cost him all of his hit points. That one shot, and that's the problem when you're low tier, or the lowest tier, is you just don't have the hit points. One shot means Lihas only has 71 hit points left. But he gets a snapshot in on the KV-13. And look at that reload. Able to get another shot in. It sets a second tank on fire. That T95 is not done with Lihas yet. And wow. Somehow, magically, Lihas just managed to bounce a T95. I have no idea how he did that. And there we go. He manages to get a shot into the commander's cupola. There's kill number 3, or kill number 4. But that's his 3rd kill on a Tier 9 tank. Both enemy RT have been spotted. But his team have lost town. This is a question of cap or not cap. It's going to be interesting to see what Lihas decides to do. He's deciding to cap. He's sitting at the back of the spawn. Sees an IS-3 in the distance, aiming fully. And bounces. It's a nice shot in. He's using these trees to shoot through so he doesn't get spotted. One enemy RT has gone down. This KV-4 is coming back. And Lihas takes a shot before the KV-4 can get into cover. Shoots before being fully aimed. Gets a nice shot in. But that takes him up to 3.5k damage. His team are capping out. And Lihas decides to stay in cover, stay safe, and they win the game by capping. So, a nice and quick little game in a tank that hasn't featured on the channel too much. The AMX AC MLE 1946. It's not a bad tank, but it was definitely not a keeper. And really, really nice performance from Lihas, considering he was bottom tier. But he picked up an ace tanker for that game. He also picked up a Halonen's, not quite sure how to pronounce it, medal, awarded for destroying 3 or more enemy vehicles with a tank destroyer, and the targets must be at least 2 tiers higher than your tank. He also picked up a Spartan medal to survive a ricochet or non-penetrating shot from an enemy player, and your vehicle must have less than 10% of its hit points. I have no idea how that T95 failed to pen on a second shot. But really, really nice game, Lihas. And again, apologies for not looking at the game or being able to bring it to the channel before now. 1250 XP, 3504 damage, and 4 kills. And it was a nice demonstration of basically what a low-tier tank can do. Play a little bit more passively, plays a support role, and you can still have decent games. And the really, really nice thing about being bottom tier and shooting higher tier tanks is you earn more credits, you earn more XP. And that's one nice thing about being low tier. I know we complain a lot when we get low tier game, or we're the lowest tier tanks in a game, but it does give you the opportunity to have much, much bigger games because you are shooting higher tier tanks for more XP and more credits. He fired 21, hit 17, bend 12, did 3,504 damage, and got quite lucky with a couple of fires, but I'm not going to take anything away from that game. Really, really nice result. He damaged damaged 3, destroyed 4, did 449 assistance damage, did 58 base cap points, 26,500 credits earned. Really, really nice considering he wasn't playing with a premium account. 1250 XP on a ×2 first game of the day, left him on 2,500 XP. So thank you very much for sending that in, Lihas. Again, apologies for not bringing it to the channel before now. Moving on, we've got this game on Airfield in the KV-4, sent in quite some time ago by Saljin. It's a it's a 9.1 replay again. Let's get the tank names down here. Now, Saljin is platooned with Mantle the Mole, interesting name. They're both in KV-4s. It's a Tier 8 game, 47%er, so it's a pretty close game. Plenty of Tier 8s on either side. And I would really love, having looked at the final score sheet before looking at this game or recording it, really would have loved to have had the game from Mantle the Mole's perspective, because it looks as if both KV-4 drivers in this replay had an amazing game. But anyway, let's get back to the game. It looks as if... yeah, it looks as if Saljin and Mantle, I'm just going to call him Mantle, are going to be doing the traditional heavy thing. Moving down into the E6 area. This is probably not an ideal map for a KV-4. KV-4, very, very good armor. Really, really nice tank when it's top tier, but its gun depression is not the best. And also, it's a wonderful side scraper, and unfortunately, this map doesn't give very many opportunities for side scraping. But there is an ELC over in B5 constantly spotting. So Saljin's not going to be able to work here. Anytime he goes to make a move, that ELC over to his right is going to be spotting. But he pops out, gets his first kill, a low health Panther. And falls back. Now there is arty in this game. Oop, ELC took a shot. And the ELC goes down. But while Saljin was looking at the ELC, the T-34 advances and gets a big, big shot. 411 damage. That looked to be into the lower glacis. Yeah, just about the lower glacis on the KV-4. But you can see the reload. You can see the reload on the KV-4 is good enough. Saljin's able to chase him down before he reloads, tracks him in place, and now Mantle has moved up, and these two KV-4s are just going to work. There's another ELC over to the right, but there's Mantle's first kill. So both these guys are working well together as a platoon. They've just taken out that T-34. And a nice shot into the side of the Tiger 2. And Mantle finishes him off. So really, really nice platoon work. And as I say, I would have loved to have seen the game from Mantle the Mole's point of view. So unfortunately, he just gets derped. Saljin just gets derped by a KV-2. It does take out his loader. And unfortunately, Saljin's already used his first aid kit. Now, I haven't watched this replay before, so maybe two crew members went down at the same time. But Saljin has used his repair or his first aid kit. His reload's at 12.2 seconds now. And the KV-2 derps Mantle the Mole, but Saljin's able to move up. Something wrong with his reticule. Kills the KV-2. And there's that armor. Bounces the Su-122-44. Enemy KV-4 is ignoring the fact they're being flanked. Saljin's looking for the kill. Not going to get it, so he goes for the KV-4 instead. And once again goes for a track shot, tracking the KV-4 in place. So we know that the enemy KV-4 has now used his repair kit. In the meantime, Mantle the Mole has gotten his second kill. And Mantle the Mole takes kill number 3 before Saljin's able to get a shot in. So Saljin's up to 2.4k damage. Really, really nice performance. Working really, really well with his teammate, or his platoon mate. The two of them are dominating the middle of the map. And Saljin just needs to move up, flank the KV-4. He's looking for kill number 3. And unfortunately doesn't get it. Even the KV-4 armor is troll for KV-4s. So he does have to reload, moves up, gets a shot into the back of the turret, takes him out for kill number 3. So the two platoon mates are on quite low health now. Mantle the Mole's on 143 health. Saljin's on 672 health. They're on 3 kills apiece. 5 enemy tanks left. And I'm surprised Artie has been leaving them alone. So Saljin is deciding he needs to relocate. Looks like Mantle the Mole's keeping an eye on that ELC, but Saljin's moving in. He needs to help his teammates in the middle of the map. They're all on low health. So I haven't seen this replay before. If I do make mistakes as I'm going through it, I do apologize. Oh, shot on the move. It's a pity he couldn't have gotten a ram kill on that Type 59. Type 59's a good player. And there's Artie. Spoke too soon. I was going to say Type 59's a good player, but ramming a KV-4 is not a good idea in a Type 59. And even though he had no run-up, just pushing into the Type 59 gets Saljin's 4th kill. While all of that was happening, he took a big hit from Artie, 513 damage. And now both Mantle the Mole and Saljin are on low health. But thankfully, Mantle takes out the enemy ELC. They're both on 4 kills apiece. All the tanks on Saljin's team are on relatively low health. Still a very, very close game. This was a 47%er, so basically a 50-50 game. And Saljin has been playing most of this game with a dead loader. Unfortunately, it is now 3 versus 3. And Saljin's doing some flanking in a KV-4. He's going to try and get to the rear of this Jagdtiger 88. Meanwhile, Mantle is still holding the middle of the map, and he's done it. So there's kill number 5 for Saljin. It really does look to be a bit of a competition between these two. Who's going to finish up with more kills? Is it going to be Saljin or is it going to be Mantle the Mole? So judging from where that shot landed, Artie is probably around D1, C1. The PZ SFL has not been spotted in this game yet. Well, nor has Artie. But the TD has not been spotted. No kills, so they're saying in chat, no, he's not AFK. Mantle the Mole is saying he took a shot from him. So it's likely both enemy tanks are around C1, D1. But Saljin is going south just in case. So, 2-man platoon, and at the moment they are on 9 kills. And as I say, I just regret not having the replay from Mantle. I probably would have liked to have made a video from his point of view as well. Okay, there is the Panzer spotted, and RT And Saljin doesn't have shots. Mantle the Mole's on very low health. Saljin is going for blind shots, but both these KV-4s are one-hit kills. And both enemy tanks are on full health. Good advice being given in chat. Wait for your friend, go in together. Looks like enemy RT is going on a TD run. And Saljin's very unlucky. It was a nicely timed shot, but misses. Mantle the Mole. Is he going to get the kill? He does. So the score is now 5-5. 5 kills each for both platoon mates. Who's going to pick up the final kill? PZ is on full health, or was on full health. Mantle's, as I say, on 143 health. Both these KV-4s have been on low health for most of this game. And it doesn't look as if the Sturla was able to pen Mantle. Mantle takes him out. Mantle wins the competition and finishes up with 6 kills versus 5. So really, really nice platoon work on Airfield, and once again I apologise for not bringing it to the channel sooner, Saljin. First time I've seen the game. It was a first class badge for Saljin. He also picked up Brothers in Arms, but it was all about the platoon. Both KV-4s had really, really good games. They both did over 3,000 damage. Who finished top? Mantle the Mole basically finished a fraction on top, just by a few XP. 6 kills versus 5. They both did over 3,000 damage each. Mantle the Mole picked up Spartan, Brothers in Arms, Top Gun and Steel Wall, and Saljin picked up Brothers in Arms. Really, really nice to see some nice platoon work. 17 shots fired, 12 hits, 12 penetrations. The gun on the KV-4 is pretty good, and it's a gun that even works against higher tier tanks, but the KV-4 really does benefit when it's top tier. It's well armored, but really, up against tier 9s and 10s, the armor doesn't count for much. He received 9 hits, 4 were bounces, and 5 penetrations. He blocked 1,350 damage with his armor. He spotted 1, damaged 8, destroyed 5, did 372 assistance damage. Playing with a premium account, he earned 27,500 credits, 1752 XP on a ×2 event, which left him on 3,504. So as you guys can probably tell from this replay, I'm up to the 9.1s. I've brought lots of 9.1 replays to the channel before, but I've still got so many I need to go through. I'll get up to 9.4 or 9.5 eventually. Once again, if you guys have sent in replays, I will get to them. It's just a matter of time. So I'd like to thank Lihas and Saljin for sending those in quite some time ago, and once again, apologies for not getting around to them before now. Thank you guys at home for watching, and I'll see you next time.